Welcome back to the Owatonna Coaches Show, and we're going to do a boys hockey segment this time. And again, the boys hockey segment's brought to you by the Blue Line Club, our Youth Hockey Association, and Youth First. My name is Mark Arjes, the Youth First Director, and we want to thank our boys hockey sponsors, Ag Power, Alexander Lumber, Bremer Bank, Culligan, Family Vision Center, Federated Insurance, Instaprints, who is the printer and designer of the hockey book this year, Jostens, the mortgage office of Brenda Bednar, Oldenburg Photography, who took a lot of the team photos and headshot photos for the book, Straight River Sports, Sign Pro, Truth Hardware, Trelo Inc., Walzer Chevrolet Buick, the Four Seasons Center, where our home rink is, Waseca Chrysler Center, and World of Wheels here in Owatonna. And again, you can find the Coaches Show on channels 8 and 20 here in Owatonna, and we're with Coach Josh Storm. How are you today?
Good.
Get to interrupt your lunch hour here a little bit at school. So,
no problem.
We talk about, I was talking earlier with Coach Tuntz, we talk about student athlete a lot, but sometimes people forget it's teacher coach, right? So
Absolutely.
This is your day job here, the teacher side of it, right?
Yep, it's kind of the important part for us, the first important part, the number one, to educate the kids, and without that opportunity, we probably don't have the coaching opportunity. So we really need to focus on our teaching, especially during the season, and make sure that we're doing the right things in the classroom as well.
I don't know if everybody knows, what do you do here at Willow Creek?
I'm a Phi Ed teacher here. I teach with one other person, Phi Ed, and I get to see about 300 kids a day for 30 minutes a day, so it's a pretty neat job.
Yeah. One of the things that we talk about in our Youth First side is talk about developing that person piece first, and then the athlete, and then the hockey player, baseball player, whatever. What about that athletic piece, and being a phys ed teacher? That's something that seems to kind of be missing a little bit in a lot of the culture today with kids with the video game thing, all that, right?
It's extremely interesting. I think back to when I was growing up, and we had video games, but they were very secondary. It was, the crummy days was when we'd play them, and we'd be outside, we'd be playing baseball or hockey in the winter, and even basketball when I had nothing to do with basketball. But it's definitely a different society and a different time, and anytime we can get kids active and using their body is a positive thing, in my opinion, especially for brain development, as we see. And we just need to continue to support Phi Ed in a positive way in this community, because we really do have a neat thing going on.
Yeah, and that physical mental piece is interlinked, isn't it? There's definitely a correlation there.
Study after study continues to tell us how much Phi Ed helps, or physical activity helps in the brain development and the standardized testing and all those type of areas. So it is an extremely important component of the whole person, the whole body, for sure.
Yeah, and then that plays right into why athletics are important as part of their student experience in high school.
Absolutely. I mean, same type of thing. The high school league has done a lot of studies on, success in the classroom, staying out of trouble, and it's unbelievable. It's remarkable, to be honest, how much different it is if someone is involved. It doesn't necessarily need to be athletics either. It can be, student council and those type of things, as well as student activities outside of athletics. So it is pretty remarkable how much of a difference it does make.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I know, so you've been a couple of weeks since the season's been over, and had the banquet the other night, which was great. It was fun to get the parents together and see the kids, and I felt a little underdressed. It's like you have these guys in all shirt and tie. Not very many of them do the shirt tie thing anymore.
Yeah, we know.
The hockey thing?
It's an important part of us. We dress up to every single, home game as well. It's a part of the culture that hockey is, and you dress up, and if you look good, you feel good, you play good, and the banquet's a big deal. It's honoring the kids who've done so much, and even the parents and the people who've supported us. So in our opinion, I've never really had to tell the guys that they're supposed to dress up for the banquet. It kind of is just what happens. So it's kind of a good thing that I really like, to be honest.
Oh, they're sharp. So talk a little bit about thoughts now on the backside of the season. Any impressions kind of rolling around, thinking about next year?
Yeah, I'm very excited for next year, for the people who are leaving and the people who are coming. We got a good group to come in, and we're returning an enormous amount of juniors who will be seniors. And next year is going to be a tough year picking the top guys to be part of our program, because there are some younger guys who can play the game pretty well in addition. So far this year, we've had some guys. We've had multiple guys. We've one for sure who's on the Select 15 team right now for the District 9, and he's competing to try to make that team, and I think he's got a pretty good shot. We have two guys who tried out for the 16s. I haven't seen the results for that. And then we'll have two guys on the 17s, and the 17s is actually the team that I coach for all of Section 1. So, we have some things going on here. Matt Ratzloff just got done competing in the grade 8 and got to go up there on Saturday and watch him, and he was tremendous. He had a goal and an assist in the game I watched, and then I heard that he had another goal the following night. So we had 3 or 4 points and extremely, the best seniors in the entire state of Minnesota. So we were pretty proud of him in 3 games.
Yeah. So that's something where he'll get some additional looks as far as potential playing in college or junior teams or whatever?
Yep, it's crawling with scouts. I talked to probably 4 or 5 junior A scouts alone, not to mention a couple D1 scouts about some different players. And it's crawling. It's a great place and a great thing to be seen there.
And who are the 17s then?
The 17s are Soren Kolstrup and Aaron Kirsch. Brody Foss and Greg Summers have been nominated as well. Those 4 have been nominated. Doesn't mean that they'll make the team for sure. I haven't seen the list of the players yet. But those 4 have been given the opportunity to try out.
Oh, great. Awesome. So in the off season, let's talk about opportunities. I know, the 4 seasons, I know you've been talking about some dryland things and all that, but what are the opportunities that you're trying to create here locally for guys in the off season?
Right now, we have a group that's lifting. Currently, all the non-spring athletes are kind of expected to lift, and they have been doing a really good job. They're actually pushing me. I'm kind of trying to give them a little break, but they're pushing me to get the programs out, and so I'm kind of doing it, fighting it a little bit. But we have a couple guys skating up in the cities 3-4 times a week right now at a company called MAP, and then we have summer stuff starting obviously in June, where we'll skate 3 days a week. I'm doing the middle of the week this year, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, give guys opportunity to travel on the outside of the weekends, 5-day weekend kind of thing.
So that's a camp at 4 Seasons?
Yep,
then?
yep. And the first week will be in Faribault for the high school guys, but then we do youth as well, where they're just in Owatonna. But also we'll be lifting 4 days a week, starting June through August, and really trying to get bigger and stronger. We have a lot of talented players now. We need to just keep adding with that strength. I mean, Matt Ratzloff did a lot of that this past year, and it showed in this game. He was a different player.
You see a lot of crossover, and I know we were talking again with Coach Huntz, and from the girls' side, he was saying soccer and lacrosse. Some of those have natural kind of crossover things. Do you have a lot of athletes doing that kind of thing in the spring here at all?
We have an enormous amount of lacrosse players, and it is a big crossover sport. I wish I had more soccer players. I think soccer is probably the #1 carryover, especially at tactical and using your feet independently, which you have to do in hockey. But we do have a lot of lacrosse guys, which is something that's good in my opinion. It's a lot of the same type of stick skills. So we do have a ton of guys that are participating in good crossover sports. But as long as they're doing something, it's a good thing for us, to be honest. We want them either lifting or playing a sport, and that's kind of our goal for them.
Right, great, good. Terrific. So one other thing I wanted to just kind of, while we're wrapping up, bounce off you. I know we've been doing some mental training as part of our spring season here. Of course, we're stuck inside with the snow with baseball, but one of the things that Coach Cummins has brought is a gentleman by the name of Brian Kane, who I think you're familiar with, and Peak Performance, but it's really all about the mental side of the game and kind of getting kids to buy into that. So are you familiar with some of that, or do you do some of that kind of thing too in hockey? Yep,
I've talked to Egan's head baseball coach, and that's who I worked with when I was in Egan as an assistant with him, and he's starting to implement that stuff this year, that program. And there is a lot of mental aspects. I don't want to just use one program, I don't think, for hockey. I just think we need to get mentally tougher as a team, and there's definitely some ideas and plans out there in place, and it's something that is definitely a focus. I think the first couple of years we had to just change the culture a little bit and change the work ethic, and now I think that's where we're headed in the next few years. So that is something that I've been doing quite a bit of research on to this point, and I'll continue until next season to develop
the work ethic's huge, because that's all piece of it too, right? It's
right.
Not only getting a buy-in, but then to actually implement it. And I know this winter in wrestling, we had in the fall, I had Jay Robinson come down with his grit stuff, and that was all about that kind of stuff. It's about discipline, dedicated, teaching those life skills,
right,
that you're looking for. But terrific, awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking a little time today and kind of getting caught up. And what's your plans for the spring here? You just
I'm being a dad. Gonna hang out with my boys and take them around and let my wife kind of get back into the working mode after hockey season.
That's awesome. Yeah, well,
I want to be a dad.
Yeah, and then coming into the summer, it'll be a little bit easier that way. So that's great. Well, we appreciate it. So again, thanks for watching the Coaches Show, and you can find it on channels 8 and 20 here locally in Owatonna, and look out at OwatonnaHockey.com and Facebook. We'll see you next time.
Sorry, that would happen.